I still remember the ticking sound of that old clock on the wall. It's strange how something so ordinary can hold a lifetime of memories. The clock was small, wooden, with a tiny crack running down its face. It used to hang right above the front door of my childhood home. My father said it was older than him, and my mother used to polish it every Sunday morning. For years, its steady ticking filled our home. Steady, patient, never rushing, never stopping. But one day, it stopped, just like everything else in my life eventually did. I never thought much about it back then. I was too young, too restless to understand that one day I'd find myself sitting alone, listening for that same sound, wishing I could go back and fix everything I broke. I grew up in a small town where days were long and simple. The mornings smelled like fresh bread from the bakery down the street, and the evenings carried the faint hum of crickets. Everyone knew everyone. You couldn't hide your mistakes. They followed you like shadows. I was an impatient boy, always chasing something. Success, love, approval. I thought the world waited for no one, so I ran faster than time itself. But I was wrong. Time never ran away from me. I ran away from it. There was a woman once, Anna. She lived 2 houses down. She had a gentle laugh, soft eyes, and a voice that could calm any storm. We used to talk by the old bridge at sunset, throwing pebbles into the stream and dreaming about a life bigger than our little town. She wanted to travel, see the cities, feel the rush of lights. I wanted to build something people would remember me for. But I didn't realize that while I was busy chasing the future, the present was slipping through my fingers like sand. One evening, she said quietly, "You never stop to look, do you?" I laughed it off. I didn't understand. Not then. Now her words echo louder than ever. Years passed, and I left the town. I thought I was chasing dreams, but I was really running from stillness. I wanted noise, movement, excitement. I wanted to prove something, to my father, to the world, maybe even to myself. I worked hard, earned money, built a name. But success has a strange way of making silence louder. Every night in the city, I'd sit in my apartment, surrounded by lights, and feel the weight of quiet. It wasn't peace, it was emptiness. Somewhere deep down, I knew I'd traded the sound of that old clock for the ticking of deadlines. When I finally went back home, the town looked smaller. The bakery was gone, the old bridge was half broken, and my house, it stood, but barely. The paint had faded and the roof had sagged a little, but the clock, that same broken clock, was still there, hanging crooked above the door. I touched it gently, brushing off the dust. The hands were frozen at 7:45. I smiled. It was the exact time I'd left home years ago. Maybe it stopped the moment I walked out. Maybe time itself waited for me to come back. I sat there for hours, listening to nothing, remembering everything. People think regret is loud, but it isn't. It's quiet, like the pause between 2 ticks. It creeps into your thoughts when you least expect it. I remembered my father sitting on that same porch, fixing his tools, humming softly. I remembered my mother's hands, warm and tired, serving dinner every night. I remembered Anna's smile, fading slowly as I drifted further away. All the moments I thought I was too busy for, they were the ones that mattered most. Sometimes I wonder if I had stayed a little longer, listened a little more, said the things I kept inside, would my life have been different? But then again, life doesn't offer rewinds, only reflections. And maybe that's enough. Maybe the lesson isn't about changing the past, but learning to be still in the present. One day, as I sat by the window watching the sunset, I heard a faint tick. I thought I was imagining it. But no, the old clock had started again. Maybe it was the breeze, or maybe time had decided I was ready. That soft ticking filled the room, and I realized something. Time doesn't heal everything. It just teaches you how to live with what you've lost. It doesn't erase the past. It helps you see it differently, like sunlight filtering through dust. I spent the next few weeks repairing that house. Not for anyone else, just for me. I cleaned the porch, fixed the fence, planted flowers by the window, the same kind my mother used to grow. I didn't rush. For the first time in my life, I moved slow. I listened to the wind, to the creak of the floor, to the faint laughter of kids outside. And every time the clock ticked, it reminded me that life keeps going, quietly, patiently. One morning, a young boy from the neighborhood came by. He was curious, full of energy, asking questions about everything. He pointed at the old clock and asked why it looked so old. I smiled and told him, because it's seen more life than most people ever will. He laughed, not understanding. But maybe one day he will. We all do, eventually. Sometimes I sit outside and watch the world move. Cars rushing, people talking, everyone in a hurry to be somewhere else. And I wonder how many of them will look back one day, just like me, realizing they missed the simplest moments because they were chasing something bigger. We spend our lives trying to make time count, but we forget to simply live inside it. Now, every evening, as the sky turns orange, I hear that clock ticking, slow, steady, forgiving. It no longer reminds me of what I've lost, but of what I still have. Moments. The sound has become like a heartbeat of the house, of life itself. I close my eyes and whisper, I'm sorry for leaving. The wind answers softly, carrying peace instead of pain. The older I get, the more I understand. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Every mistake, every regret, every lost opportunity becomes a note in the quiet song of life. I don't hate my past anymore. I hold it gently, like an old photograph. The faces may fade, but the feeling stays, warm, heavy, real. Sometimes, when I look at that broken clock, I realize it's not broken anymore. It's perfect the way it is, because it stopped at the exact moment I lost myself, and started again when I finally found who I was meant to be. Maybe that's what life is, a series of broken clocks waiting for us to come back and listen. And maybe, just maybe, the real meaning of time isn't in how long we live, but how deeply we notice the moments that pass. Now, when the night grows quiet and the moonlight falls on the floor, I sit there, an old man in a small town, and I listen. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Every sound feels like forgiveness, like peace. I smile to myself and whisper, you were never late. You just needed time to understand. The clock keeps ticking, and for the first time in my life, I don't rush. I let it tick, slowly, softly, perfectly,